Hey kids, hope you're having a good day. This video I'm going to go over the PMAS 2 required cold air intake for the S550 Mustang, 15 through 17. Now, I did a video, the last video I did, it's been a while, is on the Barracks catback exhaust. So if you're curious about that, you can check that video out. If you're looking for an inexpensive, active catback exhaust, it's pretty good quality. So let me introduce you to my car. Here she is. She's a 2015 GT. You can see I did a stripe package on her. I put the stripes on. I think gold and black looks nice. Got the little hearse decals. I'll go over the mods that I did to this car in another video. Nothing too major, your basic bolt-ons and just some suspension things. I'm gonna go over, the purposes of this video is just for the PMAS, so let's get started on that. So here she is in all her glory, the PMAS tune required cold air intake. You have to excuse the lighting, I'm just working with an iPhone and a flashlight here. So, all right, so first of all, I'm gonna tell you why I got this. Basically, it's the largest diameter intake you can buy for the S550, at least as of this video. You can see, let me just get an idea. No small hand jokes, all right? But this thing's gotta be, I don't know, maybe 13 inches round. I haven't measured it. It's got this huge tube, and it even comes with a bracket because you have to actually shift your coolant tank over about 1 inch or so just to fit this thing. And even here, it doesn't waste any space. I mean, it's got a bunch of air going in there. So, you know, so I figured more air, more power. So let me give you some pros and cons of this. So let me give you some pros and cons of this one, all right? And yeah, I got the coronavirus quarantine beard going on, so I hope you're all staying healthy and making it through this. So I'm gonna focus on the PMAS and get off my face here for this. Back to the PMAS, it's much better looking. So, all right, so some of the pros, actually, first off, props to American Muscle, okay, and BAMA tunes. I know everyone gives BAMA tunes a hard time, but BAMA, basically, if you buy a tuner from American Muscle, you get free tunes for life. And this is like my 3rd mod on this car, bolt-on, basically. And then I just email them, tell them what I got, and they send me a tune for it. And they'll send you like 2 or 3 tunes. They gave me a Ghost Cam tune for the PMAS, and they gave me a regular race tune. And I got 91 octane because I'm in California, liberal California, so, you know, it's not as good as some of the 93 octanes, but it does a trick. So anyway, some of the pros. All right, first of all, I already stated it's the largest intake, so you're getting the most air possible. Secondly, the sound it makes. I mean, when you're going through gears and hitting the gas, it makes kind of like a hissing sound, like, you know, some people call it a whistle. It's more of a hissing, and it almost sounds like a turbo blow-off valve to describe it. Not quite that loud, but that tells me you know it's working. The second positive thing about this is the performance. I mean, you're going through 1st and 2nd gear. If you mash the gas, it just throws your head back. You know, it's not quite a supercharger, but I mean, it's a good warm-up for one. I mean, it's almost like it's not the same car. It was just so extremely fast, from 1st through 2nd, and 3rd, and good performance all around. Some people say gas mileage is increased. I haven't noticed that. I think because of the tune or just the way I drive. And what else? Those are the main important pros, of course. Now, some of the cons I'll go over is, first off, it's a little bit jumpy off the bat. So what do I mean by jumpy? I mean, sometimes when you're mashing the gas through 1st and 2nd, it's kind of jolts a little bit. It's almost like it's getting so much air in. Even with the tune, sometimes the engine doesn't know how to react. Sometimes it even threw a code on me, and it's just your basic air fuel mixture code. But once it throws that code, it retards the engine until the code's cleared. So the whole ride home one day, it was just like pop, 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 pop. It was popping, and I couldn't go certain speeds. I made it home, but ever since then, I keep the tuner in the car in case I have to clear the code. Now, it could just be, I'm in California, we have shitty gas. Who knows? But that was something I noticed. It hasn't happened for a long time, but initially it would throw a code once in a while. And I even read some comments on the American Muscle feedback. Some people like, oh, it's too jumpy, jolty, and what else can I describe? Sometimes it can get hesitant, you know, and so maybe it's too much gobs of air. But I think the reason is there's nothing really that smooths out the airflow here. And this fitting here, you can see, this thing barely fits in there. And this thing's it's not lined up super straight, but I got it around. So it's not a really great fit. And I kind of had to shove it in there. And at first I had trouble closing the hood. so it's such a large intake, it's a tight fit. The non-tune required actually has a nice little metal thing here, and it looks like it might smooth the airflow out a bit. And I know I had a S197, and I had an intake from Steeda. I forget what it was called, but it even came with a metal thing that kind of smoothed out the airflow. So I think what happens is it's just gobbing all this air, it's not smoothing it out, and sometimes it can create, you know, a stutter. At least that's what I experienced. So what I did to combat that, I put a throttle body spacer. It's kind of hard to see. That just basically goes in between your throttle body and your intake. It gives you like an extra ½ inch on your, between the distance of your throttle body and here. Kind of gives it more space for the air, but the one I got was from SR Performance. 2 reasons: the price and the design. SR Performance spacer has these fins in it, and they all go around on the inside, and it actually looks like they can help the air kind of spin a little bit and smooth it out. So that's why I went with that one. And that seemed to solve the jumpiness for me. It stopped kind of jolting and sputtering as much. So, you know, so I recommend, if you have that issue with any intake where it may be, you know, throw a code once in a while, maybe try a throttle body spacer. You can get them for like less than $100 sometimes. So, you know, some people say, oh, they don't do anything, and it might not add horsepower, but it did kind of solve that jumpiness for me. It kind of smoothed out the airflow, because there's nothing here that I can see that helps smooth the airflow as it's coming in. I mean, you know, it's going through this thing, and once it gets to there, it might be too much, even with a tune sometimes. So that's the only negative I have on this thing. Oh yeah, and the inlet air temps. Let's discuss the inlet air temps. So the inlet air temperatures, they went up by about 20, 30 degrees. This system, it's not a, you know, there's no cover on top of it or anything like that, like some intakes. It looks like it's too big. Some people make a homemade cover. Instead, it has this little seal. It's supposed to seal against the hood. Well, let me get it in there, sorry. And, you know, it does go against the hood, but I'm not sure how well it seals. So if you're sitting in traffic, I mean, my IATs in the summertime, they got over 200 degrees. I didn't notice any performance loss from it. I think maybe the engine compensates by turning on the coolant fans earlier. But if you're moving along in traffic, the IATs, they drop back down. In cold weather, I mean, I had IATs at like 50, 60 degrees. It's fine, and it performs amazing. Either way, it's much faster than my stock box was. And I'll give you, so the IATs, if you're worried about that, then you might not want a system like this. If you got more mods than I got, and I'm sure you do, most people do, running your supercharger, oh, never mind, supercharger, you're gonna be using probably a different type kit, I don't know, but you might want a covered airbox if you have mods that are gonna make your engine run hot as it is. If you're going naturally aspirated, I think this setup is, it's pretty decent. All right, let me go over another con about this airbox. Okay, complaint number 2. I mean, this airbox does not use the stock intake thing this sucks air from the outside combined with this piece. It sucks air from the front of your bumper. And so a lot of intakes use that, and I think it's beneficial because you're getting, nice cold air from the outside of your, do I got it in there? Yeah, right, that piece there. Nice cold air from the outside of your intake, and though some intakes will use this and it'll just connect right up, and usually it's a closed system ones that do that, sometimes open. This doesn't use that. I think it would really benefit, maybe even on the intake air temperature side, I don't know. So I wish it would use that. That's about the only cons. I mean, but to me the price is right, especially if you already have a handheld tuner or an N-gauge. This thing I think is $200 or less I paid for it. The tune required one, back when I was looking, it was about $300, but that came with its own MAF sensor. And I think the filter diameter was a lot smaller, or the filter itself was smaller, and things like that. But if you don't want to lose your warranty, then I would recommend the PMAS no tune required. It's a pretty decent one. But if you want an inexpensive intake that is the largest you can find, and you don't mind a little bit of fitment issues here and there, I recommend getting this and combining it with a throttle body spacer, that helps smooth things out. I know there's different tuning companies. I mean, I have a BAMA tune. I have no complaints with them. I think they're awesome and responsive. I'm just doing email tunes on this because it's not modified enough. So maybe if you get a Lund or a custom tune, you might not have the problems with it stumbling once in a while. So, but that's about that on the PMAS. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. My last setup before this was a closed, it was basically just an air raid intake elbow with the stock air box and a drop-in filter, and I'm not sure if I got any gains out of that or not. And you couldn't hear, it didn't sound like this, that's for sure. So, and also this makes the inside of the cabin, it makes the engine just sound, you can hear it, it sounds kind of throaty. The engine sounds a lot meaner. So you can hear the engine a lot more if you like that. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Like I said, if you have any questions on the PMAS, hit me up in the comments. That's my pros and cons. Basically, I think for the money, if you already have a tuner, handheld tuner, and you're looking for a nice intake, you can't beat this for the price. It will not run without a tune though. So if your car breaks and you have to take it to the dealer, then, which mine did, I took it to the dealer and they were nice enough to, because I didn't feel like taking it apart. I just took it for suspension work, but they still had to get into the computer for something. So they're like, yeah, your car won't start anymore. And I was like, oh shit. So I brought my tuner to the dealer once they were finished fixing it, and I put the tune back on there, and they were nice about it. They didn't screw me on my warranty because it was suspension work, not engine work. But if you take it to the dealer for engine work, you're gonna have to take this box off and put your stock box on and flash it back to stock, because the dealer is going to, the first thing they do is, the first thing my dealer did was flash it back to stock. So they load their own, I don't know if that's just their procedure, but they totally took the tune off and I had issues there. But, you know, my dealer is pretty cool about it. You know, I just retuned it. But anyway, you guys have a good day, stay healthy through the quarantine, and I'll do another video on all of my other mods. And all right, take it easy.